Welcome back to session 8 of PPE for the Mind. Thank you for sticking with us thus far. So let's start just by anchoring ourselves in the usual way by doing a quick pod. So if you're willing, close your eyes and just let's take a pause. So push your feet down. Notice you're right there. Notice you are breathing. And then just observe your mind in this moment. Is it calm? Is it busy? And then just notice your body. Notice any areas of physical discomfort. Notice any feelings, emotional feelings, any anxiety, sadness, resentment. Just notice what's there. Not trying to change it, trying to wake up and see it. And then when you're ready, come back to the room. So, welcome back. I was just wondering whether you've had any opportunities to practice noticing your feelings during the last week.
So when I've been sort of taking a moment to kind of think and engage, I think it's sort of brought about some extra creativity in me, where it's given me an opportunity to free up my mind a little bit and then come up with something that hadn't been in there before.
Hey, that's marvellous. So there's something about kind of when you disentangle from these internal struggles that actually you're freed up to do something more useful with your mind and some of the time your body as well. So Gemma, have you noticed any difficult feelings coming up in the last week?
It's been quite a difficult one, but I think I'm just relaxing into the difficulties rather than sort of causing much more around it. Kind of like Mike's done, it's kind of freed up my time because I've not then really leaned into it and then made it much, much worse.
Okay, great. A tool that we're going to look at today is something called the 4-part lens. So the idea that a lens will give us a slightly wider view, a different perspective on whatever we're struggling with. And it's a great tool. I use it an enormous amount and it's really flexible. So you can use it to look at something that's been tricky. So an interchange you've had at work or at home where a conversation didn't go so well, you can use it to plan something challenging that's coming up. So that could be a big thing like an interview. You can also use it as part of a couple to just understand each other. Yeah, Gemma, if you've had a difficult week, would you be willing to look back over the last week and to think of a situation that was quite challenging?
Would probably be my last day at work.
Okay.
I think it was very anxiety provoking, really. I probably wasn't at my best. And I think I had a lot of emotions about it without really understanding what they were. Like I couldn't quite work out if it was just anxiety, if it was sadness, if it was relief, if it was happiness. Like I couldn't work out what it was I was actually feeling almost.
Okay, so some kind of mixed feelings and some puzzling over those feelings. So what was the actual situation? You went into work?
Yeah, so I had to go into work and basically drop off things like my passes, all of my equipment, keys, all that sort of thing. And then obviously the last day of work, still getting quite a few requests through for work to be done and what's going to happen with this going forward and can you sort things out for that sort of thing was happening quite a lot.
Okay.
And it was just, I think, quite anxiety provoking.
So there was some anxiety and some mixed feelings. And as people were asking for things, what was your mind saying about that?
I think I was getting quite like flippant, this is not my problem anymore sort of thing. It's not the way that I like to present myself. As quite a few times I would have probably said the words, not my monkeys, not my circus.
Okay, and what would we have seen on a camera apart from you being flippant and saying, yeah, how is that my problem, that you wouldn't have liked other people to see, or that in your, if you could have chosen to do that in your very best version, what would we have seen on a camera?
I think I would still have pushed a little bit more to make sure that I was doing enough in the last couple of days. I didn't do the exit interview. You have a chance to do it where you speak to the chief fire officer. I didn't do either of those, and I think that's very not like me.
So what you're telling me there is what I would have seen on a camera as some away moves for you, that this kind of cold person being flippant, ignoring their colleague, isn't who Gemma would be if she was kind of remembering her inner compass and what's important. Is that right?
Yeah, that's definitely right. That's
Okay.
not like me at all.
Okay, so do you remember in other sessions we've talked about that inside stuff that sabotages us? So I'm wondering what kind of thoughts or feelings, urges came up inside of you to show this.
I think there was just a lot of remembering and thinking about what I wanted to achieve when I first went there, how I didn't feel like I'd achieved what I wanted to, that I wasn't leaving behind the legacy that I wanted to. In my last 6 months there, I've been incredibly lonely, and people haven't been as warm to me as I would have preferred. And that was really difficult. So there was a bit of like this sort of resentment going on there as well. And also that I've been worked really, really hard there. I've put in so much to this workplace and then kind of not really getting anything out of it. In the end, I had to leave.
That's great, Gemma. That's so typical, isn't it, of what often underlies away moves. So there was thoughts of they've let me down, they're a cold lot anyway. There was some irritability, resentment, can't trust these people, and then getting involved in that courtroom drama like we do. A lot of mixed feelings, a lot of confusion about what actually am I feeling? Am I sad to go? And what I was hearing there was some hints at kind of what your values were. I wonder if, filling in the bottom right corner, I wonder if some of your values that you were hinting at. So warmth seemed important, authenticity, leaving a positive legacy.
Yeah, massively.
Something about positive change, loyalty, hard work, commitment, productivity. So are these some of the values that you would have liked to have bring to your last day at work?
Yeah, definitely.
Is there anything else that kind of comes to mind that you think, yeah, when I think of work and colleagues and stuff, that value would be important?
Advocating, and I think that there was a lack of advocacy there.
Okay, so something about advocacy, support, empowerment.
Yeah.
So you notice some away moves, so that's great that you're noticing that, and your inner compass is getting a bit stronger and is pointing when you're going in the wrong direction, and you're picking that up more quickly, and then you've been able to identify a lot of this rotten inside stuff that came along and hijacked you, which is what influenced your behavior. So what I guess the last bit is, if you had have been really in tune with your inner compass at the time, noticing in the minute, what would you have liked us to see on a camera for your last day at work? What would that have looked like?
I think just a lot more warmth, to have been less flippant, to have been a bit more hardworking. I think as well, reaching out to those who I was close with and saying, just an authentic, genuine thank you and goodbye would have been really good. And yeah, just making sure, like, even just doing a more comprehensive handover so that other people can pick up where I've left off and things like that a little bit more.
And you mentioned the choice of an exit interview.
Oh yeah. I decided not to do an exit interview, and I kind of wish I had done. But now that we've done the stuff on the values, I think that I realise the values, that advocacy sort of thing of just, standing up for what you believe in and sort of saying, you know what, actually, I don't agree. I don't think this is right. And this is my chance to be able to say it. I didn't do it. I just sort of walked away.
I just kind of wonder what it's like as you look at the whole piece there, as you look at what was going on for you, because I guess in the moment, it's almost like our heads get right shoved against the paper almost. I guess this gives us an opportunity to just take some steps back and to see from a bit more distance, gain a bit more clarity. I wonder what kind of you think, or what happens when you look at it like that.
It seems a lot more clearer. I spent days trying to work out why I was being the way I was behaving, and I don't think I came up with half the answers that are on this screen. So it's a lot clearer of what it was that was driving me at that time. And then if I could have done this then, I could then have changed some of my outward end points. If I had known that I was so negatively in my head with the sabotage and the things that my values that were kind of driving me towards that, I could have actually turned towards my values a bit more, and my outward presentation would have been better.
So that's the kind of way of using a 4-part lens. So with Gemma's one, we've looked back on a situation where she felt she made some away moves. The fourth way of using it is on a bigger area. The kind of 4 areas of your life that we generally divide things into are health, leisure, relationships, work. So you can also use a 4-part lens to take one area of life. So you can do it for a specific relationship. What would my relationship with a friend, or just kind of relationships in general, or colleagues? So I don't know what you think about it. I actually use this technique an enormous amount. So to look back when things have gone wrong and I've made lots of away moves, to look forward when I think I might make lots of away moves, when a challenging situation is coming up or something that's been forced on me or something I don't want to do, but also to use it in a more kind of a way that you can look at a more global area of your life.
Yeah, definitely. I'm going to give it a go.
It really gives you the perspective of how you actually do behave in these situations, and what you should be doing, and what you would prefer to have actually done.
That's a nice phrase. What would you prefer to do? If I had complete choice and didn't get hijacked, what would I prefer to be doing in this situation? I wonder if between now and the next session, you might have a go at using this 4 lens, either to kind of look back on something, to look forward on something, or to do a bigger area. So I will see you next week. Goodbye, and thank you for joining us for PPE for the Mind.